Hey guys, LevelCap here. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about Counter-Strike, the Simpsons of video games. It's huge, bigger than it ever has been, and most of the people currently watching it or playing it weren't even alive when it first came out. 1999 was the year the Counter-Strike mod came out in the Half-Life engine, and since then it's seen a lot of graphical improvements, but the gameplay for the most part has stayed pretty true to the original. The current version of the game, Counter-Strike Global Offensive, is massively successful. In fact, it's the most popular shooter out right now. It currently has a 24-hour player peak of 471,000 unique players for one day. Comparing that to, say, Battlefield 4 on all 5 platforms it was released on, it has only seen 121,000 unique players in a 24-hour period. So it's pretty much 4 times the player population of Battlefield 4, which makes it the second most popular game on Steam right now. Second only to Dota 2, of course. Now, I used to play Counter-Strike way back in the day. I'm talking like 1.0 to 1.6. I used to play with high school buddies. We'd organize LAN tournaments, play online, have favorite servers, and I had a lot of fun with it, but I haven't really gone back since. So this was a long time ago, over 10 years ago, that I was heavily into Counter-Strike, and really haven't gotten back into it since. Other things just have distracted me, but this recent surge in its popularity and the fact that a lot of my friends are now getting back into it has piqued my interest again. I want to get back into it. I want to check it out. I want to play with my friends again. But before I can do that, I have to do something called ranking up. For the longest time, there was no rank requirement in Counter-Strike before you could play competitive mode. And until you get that rank requirement, you have to play casual modes, which I gotta say are kind of a drag. A lot of the reason behind this is to not only familiarize players with the complicated recoil mechanics of the game before they get into competitive matchmaking, but it's also to try and limit the amount of hackers that are in competitive matchmaking. Whether or not this has had a big effect on it, we'll have to wait and see, but the deterrent is that if you buy a new Counter-Strike account and you install hacks on it, you can't just jump into competitive matchmaking and ruin people's days. You now have to basically go through casual mode, rank up to rank 3, which actually takes a long time to do. I'm talking like 8 hours on average, I would say. 6 hours if you buy some mission packs, and probably 10 hours if you're not a very good player. And I've recently had to go through this process on my own, and I'm hoping I can help you guys maybe reduce the amount of strife or the amount of time that it takes you to get through this process before you can play the ranked game mode, which is actually the bread and butter of Counter-Strike. It's what everybody gets into Counter-Strike for, and I find it crazy that they've implemented a system that requires you to spend approximately 8 hours of time playing a game mode that you don't really want to play before you can play the fun game mode of Counter-Strike. Alright, so 3 minutes into the video, let's get started with some of these tips. The first thing I would recommend doing is downloading one of the training maps. These maps will help you refamiliarize yourself with aiming, reaction time, and gun recoil. This first one here is called Training Aim CSGO 2. It's a variant of a whole bunch of others that look just like this. You can look it up in the Steam Workshop, and it basically just helps you work on your reaction time and your accuracy. And if you haven't even played Counter-Strike before, I would say definitely start out with these training modules, because you're going to want to understand the recoil system and familiarize yourself with the reaction times that you're going to need to have to be competitive in this game. I'm not a very good player. I consider myself pretty decent in Battlefield 4, but Counter-Strike is still a very hard game even for me to play. This first test here gives you 25 targets that appear for half a second each, and it basically teaches you to look around quickly, acquire those targets as fast as possible. They're also smaller targets because you're going to have to get used to aiming for the head in this game. The difference between hitting a body shot and headshot in this game is the difference between needing to shoot your opponent 4 or 5 times versus only 1 time. The AK-47 is an excellent weapon to train with because it is one of the better rifles in the game, provided you have the accuracy and recoil control to use it. It may take you 3 to 4 shots to kill somebody if you hit them in the body or arms, but only 1 shot if you hit them in the head or neck with this weapon. So obviously you have a huge incentive to aim for headshots. Now this next little test we're going to see here is the true test of reaction time. When the circle turns blue, you have to shoot it. You have 0.24 seconds to shoot it, so that's 240 milliseconds where the circle is actually blue and not red. And in my old age, I'm actually missing about half of the time. Back in the day, I had closer to a 200 millisecond response time. I think average for younger people is around 180, 190. You can train yourself to get better at this, but it's something to keep in mind, especially if you are an older gamer. Your reaction times are going to slow down. There's not a whole lot you can do about it. You just got to deal and try and compensate with your veteran expertise. This last training module I'm going to show you here is probably the most important. It's called Recoil Master. You can find it in the Steam Workshop. It's going to show you how to control the recoil on any weapon you pick off the wall. This little blue dot here shows me where to aim the gun as I progress through my recoil pattern. Now, most of the time you're going to want to be burst firing or even single firing depending on what kind of weapon you have, but it really helps to understand your recoil pattern. Each gun in Counter-Strike has a unique recoil pattern that never changes, and that is one of the things that most people love about this game. Some people don't like it as much, but once you figure it out and start to learn those recoil patterns like the back of your hand and they become muscle memory, that's when most people really start to love Counter-Strike, because it gives them a huge advantage over enemy players, and it kind of separates the experts from the noobs. I'm still in the noob category on this one. Unlike other shooters that show you a visual recoil representation throwing your crosshairs off-site, Counter-Strike instead will make the bullets go in a different location than where you're aiming, and this can be a little hard for players to get used to, especially if you're very familiar with the new school way of doing things. Counter-Strike is an old school game and it's never going to change. I think they've tried it a few times and community has been less than happy about it. Alright, now assuming we've familiarized ourselves somewhat with the recoil system and the weapons in this game, what can we do to speed up the ranking process a little bit? Well, if you got $5 to spend, in addition to the price of the game, you can buy a little thing called Operation Bloodhound. It'll give you missions in the game that reward you with extra experience. I think you can also get some weapon camos and other stuff like that along the way, but basically this will help you rank up a lot faster, and if you really don't want to spend too much time in casual, I would recommend going this route. The missions will range from things like getting 60 Deagle kills on Dust 2 in casual team deathmatch, to more competitive oriented game modes, to things like getting kills with weapons that you pick up from enemies. They can be fun, but it is also a little tedious in the long run. Now, I did ask Jack Frags about what the fastest way to rank up was, and he said definitely play the casual game mode, not team deathmatch. And I did try casual game mode, but I think that really helps a lot if you are a much better player, because if you do well in casual, you win a lot of games and get a lot of kills, then I think you absolutely can rank up faster. But if you're more of a mediocre player, then you might want to try out TDM, where you're not too reliant on the skill of players around you or carrying your entire team. Now, you will get a lot more experience per kill in casual game mode. The only problem with casual is that you're getting way less kills. You play TDM, you're going to be getting kills non-stop all the time. It's a kill fest the whole way through. It's just also a bit chaotic, so you're going to be dying from people spawning behind you. TDM in Counter-Strike is pretty much awful. I honestly didn't think TDM could get worse than it was in Battlefield 4. I was mistaken. Counter-Strike TDM is quite possibly the worst TDM I've ever played. You see people spawn right in front of you as ghosts. You can sit there and wait till they turn visible and shoot them in the head, or they can do the exact same thing to you. It's kind of insane. Now, everybody gets weekly bonus points, and these bonus points are just multiplying your basic score until you run out of bonus points, and you will run out of bonus points before you hit rank 3, at which point you might be incentivized to buy the Operation Bloodhound coin to help you rank up faster. That's kind of what I did, because I just didn't want to grind it out in 1 week. Or you could just wait till the next week and use your bonus points from the next week to help you rank up a little bit faster. Or you could just grind it like crazy, which will take a long time. Now here I'm hitting rank 3 finally. I calculated it. It took me approximately 7 hours to get there. I wish I brought the Operation Bloodhound coin a little bit sooner so I could have saved myself some time, but it really depends on your budget, how much money you want to spend, and how serious you think you're going to get about this game. Now that I've actually hit rank 3, it's time for me to take a break from the game because I've been playing it for 7 hours. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll let you know what I think about the competitive match mode once I get around to playing it. I'll see you guys next time. This is LevelCap signing off.